Hello and welcome to Game Patrol, episode 13. What's up, guys? I'm actually back. Sorry for being late, but we tried our best. We really did. It's been crazy. Yeah, what's up? Hi, I'm your host, Landon Plumley, and yeah, I am a day late, but I am back. If you're listening on podcasting services, I said I would be back this week on my YouTube channel, so go follow over at Panda Master. Um, if you haven't already, go subscribe. I'm also streaming on Twitch now, so I'm at Panda Master Twitch, because it's Twitch, and so I've been streaming for the past couple weeks now, and it's really fun. I'm really enjoying it a lot. I've been getting a pretty decent, pretty regular growth. I have pretty much every stream I've done so far, I've gained at least one new follower. And so I've been making some consistent growth, and I'm really excited about it. I'm having a lot of fun. I've been streaming South Park. I don't know if that's the best. That's definitely not the best game to be playing on Twitch, but I just really wanted to play South Park, so I've been playing South Park. So I blitzed my way through the Stick of Truth, and last night I just started the Fractured But Whole. And so, yeah, it's been a really fun time. Also, new setup. I moved into my apartment for the year. So I'm back in Indianapolis. I was actually in Michigan for the summer. I said on the last episode of Game Patrol when I visited home briefly. And so I just moved into this apartment this week. So I am in Indianapolis now. And so yeah, I even have pretty little lights. So I don't know if this is how things are going to look. I kind of feel like typically, you're in the center of the thing, right? But I wanted the lights to be in view. I just got those today, specifically for stream. But then they're not very pronounced. Part of it is because, right behind the camera, there's a window, which is covered by blinds. But, it's so bright, it shines through the blinds a little bit. And so it makes it so they're not super pronounced. They look really cool in person, I promise. But, yeah, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to get it to work. I kind of was thinking about getting some more, not the strips, but actually getting RGB bulbs, because I have a lamp on my nightstand over here. And then I was thinking if that wasn't enough, to just get another lamp to put over here and just kind of light up the room some more. Because another thing is if I turn, and this is all for video people right now, so if you're listening on Spotify or whatever, I apologize. You can just skip over this part. But I have a lamp. I'm trying not to mess with the setup here, which I'm doing. I've already done. That I usually use. But when I do that, it makes it even less pronounced. Actually, that kind of looks pretty good. I don't know. It makes it less. It makes it less pronounced on the walls, but it still doesn't look that bad, does it? I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. I really don't. Um, but yeah, that's something to figure out later. I'll figure out. Oh, I'm actually streaming right after this, so I'll figure that out on stream. But normally, I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm doing a bonus stream today. I'm recording this on Friday. Hopefully, I'm getting this up on Friday too. That's the goal, since I'm already late enough as it is. But typically, I stream Tuesday, Thursdays, if you didn't know already. And so 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, I do some bonus streams every once in a while. So right after this, I'm going to play some Wasteland Remastered, because Wasteland 3 comes out in a couple weeks, and I'm going to stream that at launch. And so I've never played the Wasteland games, so to get ready, I wanted to check them out and figured I could do it on stream. If people watch, cool. If not, that's fine. I'll just play the rest on my own. But just check it out at the beginning, see if it gains any interest. Not yesterday, the day before, I played Horizon Zero Dawn on stream on PC because I wanted to check that out. And people were pretty not interested, and so that's fine. It's a fun game. I enjoyed playing it for a few hours. I'll probably play it some more on my own free time, but I won't stream it again because it didn't generate much interest. Same deal here. Just try out some things, throw some stuff, see what sticks. But yeah, I've been streaming. It's really fun, and so I've been enjoying that a lot. Now, let's get the intro stuff out of the way. Another thing I missed, freaking rallies. There's no rallies in Michigan, where I was. I don't know about all of Michigan, but I missed it so much. That was the first thing that was one of the first things I did when I got back to Indiana, was get rallies. I love rallies. It's not good for my health, but it's good for my mental health. Anyway, get into the games coming this week because there's actually a fairly decent amount. Most of them coming Tuesday. So I am going to talk about a Total War Saga Troy, which actually came out on PC yesterday. Had I have done this on time, it would have been it would have been something still coming, or technically it would have come out the day that this would have come out. But I'm a failure and didn't get it up in time, so it came out yesterday for PC only. A Total War Saga Troy is the first in the award-winning strategy series to focus on the Bronze Age Mediterranean and the legendary 20-year conflict between the kingdoms of Troy and Mycenaean Greece, known as the Trojan War. So, the Total War games, they've always been well regarded. So if you are a fan of this, I really want to check out the Warhammer games because those were like really well received. The first one was, and then the second one like exceeded the first. And those are about the only modern ones I don't have besides like Rome 2. I haven't played a lot of Total War, but I just managed to get all of them. So I picked this one up because it was actually free on Epic Game Store for 24 hours. So if you're watching this and haven't gotten it, I'm sorry, or listening I should say. It's too late, but it was actually free on the Epic Game Store for 24 hours, and it's only on the Epic Game Store right now, as they've been doing with a lot of PC games. And it will come to Steam next year. So, yeah, hopefully you got to pick that up for free if you were interested. If not, it is on sale now for... it's not on sale. It's available for purchase. That's what I mean to say. I don't know. My brain doesn't work very well. Also, another thing, we've got the pandas back. I said I would make them regulars, and they are. They're also regulars on the stream. And so if you forget, or if you didn't watch last episode, the big one is Smorf. Again, this is all video stuff. If you're watching on audio, you know how podcasts are like meant to be like listened to. I'm so sorry. Like I really feel like I'm bastardizing you guys, but that also means watch on YouTube too. Just do whatever you want, but like you get bonuses for watching. But yeah, Smorf is the big one. Not weight wise. Don't you worry, buddy. You are so fit. But the largest. And then we have Pedro and Delilah. Delilah's kind of nooked in there. You can see her a little bit. But yeah, those are my pandas. They are amazing. They are from IKEA, but now they reside with me. And we do sleep together. And so, yeah, I'm going to keep mentioning the pandas for a little bit while they're still newer, still fresher to you guys. Because they will be here every week. That is a promise. Also, I just need to remember to take them home because I'm actually going to be home next week, so it's going to be a different environment for next week's podcast because I've got appointments and stuff to take care of, eye appointments, doctor's appointments, that sort of stuff. Got to make sure I am still in tippity-top health. But moving forward, this is going to be a long podcast. I'm just saying that now because I've got a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and I'm excited. I'm back. I'm like actually back. Like we're doing this. I don't know if I'm going to use the podcast studio this year. That's what I did last year. But honestly, I've got a pretty dope setup here. If the audio quality is pretty doo-doo, then maybe. But I'm feeling pretty good with this. And I'm only going to add to this setup. I'm thinking I need to put up some posters on the wall. It's very bland. But I'm just not a huge poster guy. Not because I don't enjoy them, but just because I've never really invested in any. And so I feel like I should, change that. But that's something I'm thinking about. Anyway. Moving forward, EA Sports UFC 4 is out on PS4 and Xbox One today. And so in EA Sports UFC 4, the fighter you become is shaped by your fight style, your achievements, and your personality, no matter how or where you play. EA Sports UFC 4 puts you at the center of every fight. So, how that description is any different than any of the other UFC games, I don't know. I've never played any of them. But if you are interested in UFC, which I feel like... I'm not that interested in UFC like the sport, but I feel like this is a game I could get into. I mean, it's a cool beat 'em up sports thing, and the reviews have started to come out for this game. I don't know how many of them there were. I just saw that the Metacritic score was like 79. Again, that could have been out of just like 4 reviews, so it could change drastically. But the last I saw, that's pretty decent score. It's better than WWE 2K. What was it, 2K20? Yeah. So yeah, if you're into that, it seems like it's not a terrible game. Also, on Tuesday, this is where we get into like a bunch of games. We'll start out with Death End Request 2. In collaboration with Corpse Party scenario writer Makoto Kidoin, please forgive my pronunciation, this horror RPG follows Mai Toyama's search My, Yep, that Toyama's search for her sister in a quiet lakeside town. She'll unravel clues to the town's past by day and battle shadow matter by night. Can you uncover the truth before reality is consumed by darkness? So, a kind of subgenre that has been emerging more prominently the past few years has been the horror JRPGs. And they're really cool. I actually got to review one back when I had an internship with this small gaming site, and it was called Tokyo Dark Remembrance, and it was really cool. And so, again, this has some collaboration with some people that helped to make Corpse Party. And so, if you're into horror JRPGs, because that is becoming like basically its own genre now, it's really cool. You've got another one on PC. It is coming to PS4 later this month. I believe it's the 25th. And so, if you are on console, or specifically PS4, and are interested in this, you will get that in just a couple of weeks. And so, also, the big one that I'm excited about, Microsoft Flight Simulator is coming out to PC on Tuesday, and I will be playing that. I will be streaming that, actually, right at launch. So, Microsoft Flight Simulator is the next generation of one of the most beloved simulation franchises. From light planes to wide-body jets, fly highly detailed and stunning aircraft in an incredibly realistic world. Create your flight plan and fly anywhere on the planet, enjoy flying day or night, and face realistic, challenging weather conditions. So, typically, I am not interested in flights in video games. Like, I'm not good at it, and I just don't do super well. Like, me flying planes is not a good idea. But I'm just interested in the scope of this game, because this game is massive. It's a 1-to-1 scale. It's got like hundreds of different airports. It's massive. Like, this game's like 123 gigabytes, I think, on PC. I need to download that. I actually will download that tonight before I forget. But I'm really excited for this game because it just looks like it's absolutely massive, and the graphics are stunning. I don't know how it's going to run on my laptop. Like, I just got a new laptop a couple weeks ago. That's why I started streaming, doing all this stuff. And it's a beefcake. It's got a 2070 in it. It's got an i7. I don't even remember exactly what it is. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is easily like the worst part of it, but still really good. Um, but yeah, it's a beefcake. But again, I don't know how it's gonna run this because this is a beefcake of a game. But I'm really excited to check this out just because of the scope of this game is just. And so I'm not promising to be good at it by any means, but I'm still excited, and so I'm gonna be checking that out for sure. And you should too. If you have plus if you have a PC that is capable of running this game, which maybe not a lot of people do. It's free on Game Pass, so get Game Pass. It's $1 for your first month, and so get Game Pass. Actually, I don't know if that deal's on Game Pass for PC, but like if it is, it's whatever. It's cheap. Get Game Pass. Pay $5 or however much it is on PC, which I'm fairly certain is $5. I have Game Pass Ultimate, so I get it all anyway. But spend the $5 instead of $60. Just $5 for this massive game, and like 50 other games. I mean, it might be more than that. There's a bunch of games on Game Pass for PC now, a bunch of which I didn't even realize were on there, and so I'm super excited about. Yeah, there's really cool stuff on Game Pass for PC. Like, it was kind of lackluster when it first launched. It mostly launched for Master Chief Collection, but like now, it's really good. Like, it's really good. It's worth it for $5 a month, which I'm 90% sure is what it costs. But yeah, get Microsoft Flight Simulator. Also on Tuesday, Mortal Shell, which is something that I'm actually kind of excited for. I'm not good at these types of games, but it looks really cool. So it is coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC through the Epic Game Store. Mortal Shell is a deep action RPG that tests your sanity and resilience in a shattered world. Your adversaries spare no mercy, with survival demanding superior awareness, precision, and instincts. Possess lost warriors, track down hidden sanctums of the devout, and face formidable foes. So, this is a Souls-like game, so it's a very challenging game. And it was, I don't remember if it was revealed during IGN Summer of Gaming or if it was just highlighted. I don't want to say that it was announced during there because that feels like a really short time from announcement to release. But it was one of the highlights of IGN Summer of Gaming, which was their sort of E3 replacement this summer. And it looked really cool. Something interesting. It looked like their own sort of unique take, and they admitted, they were heavily inspired by Dark Souls, and they wanted to create a game like that. And so, if you're into those types of games, there's another one here for you to kick your butt, maybe. So, also on PS4 and Xbox One on Tuesday, Pathfinder Kingmaker Definitive Edition. So, this is the ultimate single player RPG experience based on the acclaimed Pathfinder series. Explore and conquer with your party the stolen lands of Galarian, a world rich with history, mystery, and conflict, featuring real-time combat or optional turn-based fights. So, if you're into Dungeons and Dragons type RPGs, this is one for you, similar to like Pillars of Eternity, Divinity, that sort of thing. I actually just recently got Divinity Original Sin 2. I had it on the Switch, but I got it on PC when I got this new laptop, and I do plan on playing it here very soon. I played for like 20 minutes on the Switch, and it just like, it's good. It's just, I feel like the way to play is on PC, so that's probably where I'll play all the way through, but I do plan on playing it soon. That has nothing to do with what we're talking about now, but I felt like I should mention it. So those are the games coming out this week. Sort of, kind of. Within the next, they're coming, okay? Now I've got some gaming news, and so this was a pretty big week for gaming. With E3 canceled because of coronavirus. Screw coronavirus. We've instead of getting a big E3 week, we've just been getting a lot of news this summer, kind of spread out, and a lot of stuff that usually is announced still isn't. For instance, we still don't know what the new COD's going to be. We still don't know the launch date or prices of either Xbox or PlayStation, although we have a pretty good guess for the Series X, which we're going to talk about in a second here. But yeah, it kind of sucks. We should know a lot more release dates, like for games, consoles, all that stuff, than we do now. Like, we usually know a lot more. We usually have 2020 pretty much filled out. And now it's like there's so much, and I'm also going to talk about that later. There's so much we still don't know the release of, and I feel like a lot of them will get delayed because we're already seeing a bunch of big, massive games getting delayed, which is another thing we're going to talk about. But let's get into it. So DC Fandom, which is DC's whole basically like Comic-Con E3 combo thing that they're doing very soon here, will include a first look at WB Games Montreal's possible Batman game and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is a rumored title. We don't know if that's the actual title, but it probably is, which I have mixed feelings about. But we're getting two awesome new WB games in the DC universe. Officially it's, WB Games Montreal's, their new game. We don't know anything about it, but it's the Court of Owls game. They've been teasing this for years now. It's the longest tease I've ever seen for a game ever. But we're finally going to get something about this Court of Owls game, so that's super awesome. I'm very excited to see what they have planned, because this is probably like the next legitimate Batman game since Arkham Knight, because Rocksteady's moved on. They're doing their Suicide Squad game, which is I'm also super excited for, but a little skeptical about. But yeah, I feel like I will be satisfied with Montreal's game, whatever they're working on. Why I'm a little skeptical about Suicide Squad is that there's been rumors that it's going to be like a Destiny-like game. Presumably, WB probably pressured them into getting into the games as a service thing, because that's kind of been what's hot ever since Destiny came out. So, we've had Anthem, we're getting Avengers now. And it's like, it's ruining these devs, man. Like, look at what happened to, I don't even remember their names now. Shit. What are those people at EA? Mass Effect. BioWare. There we go. I don't know why. I was thinking it would start with an M for some reason. But look what happened to BioWare when they released Anthem. I mean, they were already doing bad enough after Andromeda. And then they released Anthem, and it was just... And now Crystal Dynamics is probably going to get a lot of flack for Avengers, because the early impressions are not super great. And so, I really don't have any anticipation to play the beta. I will play the game when it comes out, and I'll be playing on PS4 so I can play as Spider-Man, which I think is ridiculous, but whatever. But yeah, I'll be playing at launch, but I am not expecting super great things from it, even though I was super excited from it, and I wish it would be good because I love the Tomb Raider games, but it just doesn't look like it's going to wow me. I feel like it's just going to be a very mediocre game, and that's what most people have been saying. Not a bad game, but nothing spectacular. And it just looks like, I hope that those rumors are not true. I hope that this is not some Destiny clone with a DC skin, because nobody wants that. I mean, granted, they sell. Anthem was a hot seller when it first came out, although that died pretty quickly. Avengers is going to sell like hotcakes. And so, it's not even a bad business call. But I hope not. I hope not. Rocksteady's so good at single player open world games. I really hope that they stick with that with Suicide Squad. I hope it's like a GTA type thing where you can switch characters on the fly, like at any time and stuff. And it's just, it'd be so cool. It'd be so cool. But yeah, we're going to find out about that really soon. Secondly, Xbox Series X and S could launch on November 6th, according to controller leaks. So this is really interesting. So apparently, some riots in, I believe it was Chicago, they broke into stores, and for some reason, the stores already had these new controllers, these new Xbox controllers. I don't know why they had them so flippin' early, but so people got their hands on the new Xbox controller. And on the back, there's a warranty that is set to expire on November 5th, 2021. So, assuming it's a 1-year warranty, that would say that the consoles would launch on November 6th, which is a Friday, which is typically when these things happen. So, like a lot of people are like, maybe this is when it comes out. I'm pretty confident that it's November 6th. Like, I would be shocked if it's a different date. And like, even if it is, like, some people would be like, well, what if they move it now? It's printed on those boxes, the warranty. They'd have to reprint all that stuff. So it's set in stone. Like, it's been November 6th for a while now if they have it printed on stuff. So, yeah, no, it's November 6th. I'm 99% confident that it is that date, and I'm not really going to flinch from that. So until they tell me differently, it's November 6th. They also just confirmed it was going to be in November after they did what we're going to talk about next, which is they delayed Halo Infinite to 2021. I'm going to talk a lot more in depth about this, so I'm going to try to keep it a little brief right now. But yeah, this is pretty devastating. I mean, it's a great thing when things get delayed because it means that the developers are working hard, like, to make the game perfect. It's giving them more time. Like, Cyberpunk's been delayed God knows how many times, but I know when it comes out, it's going to be the best it can be because of that. And so, good on 343 for putting the game before, the launch of the Xbox or the pressure or whatever. Just, focusing on making the game the best it can be. But my God, is this awful for the Series X. This is probably the worst thing that could have happened for that console. And a lot of bad stuff has happened for that console. So this is not good. And I'm gonna get more in depth. But yeah, Halo Infinite is not coming this year. It is being delayed to next year, unspecified. Just at 2021. That's all we know right now. Also delayed to next year, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, a game that I have steadily been more and more excited for as I'm hearing more about it. The Xbox, the first Series X showcase where they showed this game, showed a little bit of gameplay. I was super excited. It looked a lot like Vampire, the one game that I never checked out, but I was, it looked interesting, but then the reviews were kind of, meh. It just looked like a better version of that. Basically a mix of Vampire and Dishonored. That's kind of how I felt this game looked, and I heavily, heavily love Dishonored. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And so, yeah, The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is a game I'm excited about and will definitely be playing when it comes out, but it's just, it's next year now. It was supposed to come out early 2020, then it got pushed to late 2020, and now it's coming out next year at some point. So that has also been pushed. But some better news to round out our gaming news section. Remedy is working on a game set in the Control and Alan Wake connected universe. So, last week during the State of Play, they announced that the next Control expansion would be titled AWE for Altered World Events, could also be titled Alan Wake expansion, because Alan Wake is going to be in Control, something that I have wanted for so long, because Alan Wake is one of the best games ever made. I know I just commented about Dishonored, but Alan Wake is also up there, and it is so underrated, and it deserves a sequel, and Remedy just got back the rights last year, so they could be working on Alan Wake too. There is hope. So, I hope and pray they're working on something in that universe, even if it's not Alan Wake 2. I just hope he's in it and has some involvement, and there's more of that awesome combat, because Control is a beautiful looking game that utilizes RTX, and to see all the shadow play that they could do and lighting stuff, like, because that was a huge part of the first Alan Wake, to see that now with the graphics capabilities we have now, it'd be a beautiful game. It'd just be absolutely beautiful, and my ear itches. But like, yeah, I'm hoping and praying it's an Alan Wake 2, but if not, Alan Wake should be in it, or at the very least incorporate, gameplay elements from the old Alan Wake, just, revamped, just please. I mean, I get that Control is basically a spiritual successor to Alan Wake, but like, I want more than that. I want more. I want my baby back. I want something. I don't want it to end on Alan Wake's American Nightmare, because that game sucked. That game sucked so bad. It was so bad, and I just want to forget it ever existed. And so, please give us something. Don't end on that. I mean, technically now that we have the expansion, which comes out in a couple weeks, but like, give me more. That's all I ask. So yeah, that's the big news. I'm gonna take another swig for my water, and then we're gonna get into the big stuff. So, 2020. It's been a roller coaster of a year. Coronavirus has derailed pretty much everything, but I'm going to talk about why 2020 is both one of the best and worst years in gaming ever, because it's been crazy. It's been crazy, and but I genuinely think that 2020 is a turning point in the gaming industry, both for good and bad reasons. And so, first off, we're going to talk about all the bad stuff, because there's a lot of problems I have with 2020 specific to gaming, and it's making me sad. So I have these on my phone because I put together this list while I was listening to a podcast, which was kind of talking about things, and it just got me thinking about things. And, I'm an English major. I'm a writer, and so I just kind of grab whatever is near to me and I write it down or do whatever, so I can remember it, because my creativeness is just so fast. It just, I move on. I probably have undiagnosed ADD, if we're being perfectly honest. But anyway, I'm just gonna list out the big games. These are not all the games, but these are the big games that have been delayed out of 2020 this year. We've got Dying Light 2, which really, really, really hurt me. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, Halo Infinite, Psychonauts 2, and Tales of Arise. So those are the games that we know are delayed out of 2020. But those are just the delayed games. And a few of those are really recent. Psychonauts 2 was delayed, last week? And so, there's another Series X potential launch game that's out of the window. Vampire as well. I mean, I know that would have been multi-platform, but still. But then we get into the games we still don't know the release date of. Again, these are just some of the bigger ones. This isn't every game in 2020 that still just has a generic 2020 release date or something of that nature. So we've got Roller Champions, which has been, dead. I was shocked that it wasn't in the Ubisoft, what was that called? Ubisoft Forward. So I have no idea where that game's at. Outriders, which I think just got narrowed down to a December release date. So I don't know that that'll get delayed out of 2020. Bravely Default 2, Crossfire X, Godfall, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which I would be shocked if it does make 2020, because that's been another game that we've heard nothing of for a long time. No More Heroes 3, and System Shock Remastered. So all of those still have no release date. And again, in usual years, by this time, most, if not all of them, would have release dates. But with the lack of E3 because of coronavirus and everybody just kind of scrambling, we don't have anything. And so, what do we do? I mean, a lot of these delays are because of coronavirus. Between that and the negative reception of the first gameplay, Halo Infinite was delayed, and so we're not getting that. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, probably again, it's very difficult to, in the world we live in, it's a lot easier to make things in this new environment than it would have been 20 years ago, but it's still difficult, a collaborative project that everybody has to make, at their homes. What happened? My headset made a beep at me. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't really know why I have these on. Uh, Pretty sure I don't know why it's not muted, but I don't have any sound running through here. I guess it's because it makes me look cool. So yeah, but yeah, I lost my train of thought. But things have been delayed. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of games this year. It's been slower because games have been delayed because of coronavirus, and we're not seeing a lot of game announcements. Where the heck is Nintendo? I mean, we just got an announcement of Pikmin 3 last week, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is a Wii U port, but we have no idea what's going on with Nintendo. Like, Bravely Default 2 and No More Heroes 3. Those are like the only Nintendo games we know of that are still like coming out this year, and they might not. They might get delayed out of 2020. But they're also like third party. They're just exclusive on the Switch. So we have no idea what first party Nintendo is doing after Pikmin 3, if they're doing anything this year. There's been plenty of rumors about Mario collections for the 35th anniversary, I believe. I believe it's 35th. Um, but we haven't heard anything yet. And again, if we would have had E3, that probably would have been a thing then. But since we haven't, everybody's taking their sweet time to talk about this stuff. And so we just don't know. And I think everybody's just hoping that coronavirus will go away. In a lot of places, in a lot of places, it is, just not in the U.S. For reasons I don't want to talk about. But yeah, it's been rough. It's been very rough, and especially if it comes back, if we get a COVID-20, I think that's putting a lot into question. I think that's what's causing hesitation, because life is not normal. As much as we want it to be, our lives have been changed, and it's not going to revert back to normal anytime soon, if ever. And so, while it sucks that we're not getting information as frequently as possible, but like in a way we kind of are. Like, instead of getting a massive amount of information at once, we're getting information trickled all the time. And so it's a weird world that we live in. 2020 has been very weird, but it's suffered a lot. And then let's talk about Xbox for a minute. Okay, so Halo Infinite, right? I've seen everybody spinning this as a great thing for Microsoft because, they're going to take time to refine the game and this and that. Here's the thing. The game should be ready. They've had 5 years to make a good Halo. They've had all the time in the world. The problem is that they seem to have messed it up. I was going to use stronger language, but I try to keep this podcast a little clean. But they messed it up, and so now they're like, we need to scramble. And I don't even think it's a bad game. Like, I enjoyed it. I thought, I agree, like, graphically it's not the most beautiful thing in the world, but I thought gameplay wise it looked like a fun game. I didn't dislike it really in any way, but I think they're so afraid of messing up Halo that negative reception, they're just like, no, we can't do this. We have to go back to the drawing board. Like, I don't know how far back they're gonna push development. Probably not that far, but they're so scared of disappointing people, and I feel like that's what's ultimately gonna make this game fail, is because they're going to have so much pressure, and they're gonna be so terrified of messing things up. I think they've marketed Halo Infinite as a return to form. That it's going to be very reminiscent of the first Halo. I think the problem is that Halo Infinite is probably going to be, a prettier version of Combat Evolved with a grappling hook. Like, I don't think it's going to be all that different. I think that they're going to lean a lot into the nostalgia, and I don't necessarily think it's going to do anything revolutionary. I think it's going to be a lot like Halo Guardians, where I think the multiplayer is going to be super top-notch, especially since it's going to be free-to-play and at 120 FPS. I think the multiplayer is going to be phenomenal, but I think the campaign is going to, not take people where they want to go. That's just how I feel. I think it's going to be another Guardians, and just because they're going to crumble under the pressure. And I think that it's interesting how they worded things, that Infinite is likely the last game, but they're gonna keep supporting it, and so it's weird because it's like, I don't know if that means it's gonna be a live service game, if they're gonna make it kind of like Destiny, where like, yeah, there's the campaign, but then the story continues through multiplayer, and they're gonna introduce like PvE stuff, and like they're gonna just kind of, I don't know, it's weird, like the way they worded it. I have no idea what their plans are for this game. Like, I don't know if it's gonna like slowly morph into a different game, like almost like how Destiny's free to play now, and like if you were to launch into Destiny 2 right now, um it would just it'd be kind of like, do whatever you want, do whatever missions you want, and if you want to play the campaign, you got to go do this, you got to go pick it up and do like, launch like a special thing, but like you genuinely don't play the campaign anymore. It's mostly for like whatever the free to play stuff is. Whereas, like, I feel like Halo Infinite might end up like that in like, I don't know, 2 years, like where it's like the campaign's technically accessible, but when you load it into the game, it's like not really a thing. It's mostly about the multiplayer, like whatever's going on, whatever they're doing. And so I don't know if they're trying to convert Halo Infinite into a service game, like a live service thing, or what. I don't know what their plans are for it, but I don't know. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm still gonna play it right at launch, whenever the hell it comes out. But yeah, I officially am saying that Xbox Series X is a dumpster fire. It's I've been trying so hard to remain excited for the Series X. I think the Series X is going to be. I want to say the Series X is going to be the main place where I play my third party things, because it's going to be more powerful. But the problem is that there aren't even a whole lot of third party games coming to Series X, at least at the same time. I mean, PS5 has so many time exclusives, and the ones that aren't timed, there's extra content coming, like Avengers, with Spider-Man coming to PS4. I'm going to get Avengers on PS4 because I love Spider-Man and I want to play as Spider-Man. Um, Otherwise, I wouldn't. I would get it on Xbox because I like playing on Xbox. Uh, but I have no reason to get it on Xbox when I could get it and play it at probably the same, if not almost the same graphical quality, um, with more content. And that's how it's looking, how it's going to be with the PS5. Most games are going to be either on PS5 or play best on PS5. Maybe not look best, but play best, meaning there's going to be content and all this other stuff. And that sucks. That really sucks. Like, I mean, granted, it's like, I'm going to be playing it, so, how am I still losing and all this? But the thing is that it's dangerous, because PS5 or PlayStation is becoming so, like, they have shoved Xbox into the ground so hard that it becomes, what happens when Xbox stops competing, because they almost have. And that's sort of like the almost good thing, is that it's basically, I was listening to a podcast earlier today that said it was an ecosystem versus a console, that Xbox isn't really trying to sell their consoles anymore. They're trying to sell their ecosystem, and they're just giving you multiple ways to get into that ecosystem, whether it be the Xbox One S or the Xbox Series S or Series X or PC. Just any way you want, jump into Xbox, and you get Game Pass and all these games that you can play across any of them. And, it is different. They're not really trying to sell you their console. They're trying to sell you the Xbox brand. And so I don't know how profitable that is. But then again, you look at it and it's like, when you look, and this was another thing that the podcast mentioned, is that when you look at revenue, Sony makes a bunch more revenue off of, game sales and hardware sales. But when you look at subscription services, Microsoft Xbox is making so much more money than PlayStation, because they have Game Pass, and Game Pass is the best value in gaming. It's the absolute best thing that Microsoft has come up with this generation, and they're continuing into it with Series X, and that is their main thing. And that is why it's an ecosystem now, is because of Game Pass. And especially with Game Pass Ultimate, you have Game Pass on Xbox and Game Pass on PC, and it's all connected. And we've got cross saves and cross platform and cross this, cross that. they're just making everything so simple. And now with smart delivery, all the games you have on your One, you'll be able to play on the X, and it's just so simple. Whereas the PS5, it's like we don't know. It seems like they're doing some sort of similar stuff, but PlayStation now is just it's trying to be like Game Pass, but it's failing. And so I hope that the PS5, you know, revamps it in a way that it makes it more like Game Pass, because if they were to create a rival, like a true rival to Game Pass, and it works, and it does, people do subscribe. Xbox is beat. Game Pass is the only thing keeping Xbox alive right now, because they still don't have games, and they still don't have a console worth anything. Like, I mean, as much as I love Xbox, like I am Xbox over PlayStation any day, and that may not ever change. I have no reason to get a Series X right now. I have a really powerful gaming laptop and an Xbox One X, all capable of doing almost everything the Series X can do. The only thing it doesn't is, like a lot of games will probably run at 4K 30 on the Series X, and 1080 144 hertz on my PC. So it's gonna look slightly better, or run slightly better on the Series X. With anything 120 hertz, there's probably not going to be a whole lot at launch, especially with Halo Infinite not being there. B, I don't have a 120 hertz monitor. I would have to get a new TV to do that. And so I just, I don't know. Money's going to be kind of tight this fall for me, especially with coronavirus. And so I'm not 100% certain I'm even going to get a Series X at launch. Like, I would like to, but my priority is the PS5, because that's going to play stuff that I can't play anywhere else. And I understand Microsoft's position on not having exclusives, because they want you to be into the ecosystem. They don't care what you play on as long as you're playing. But I have no reason to get their new console. And so does that mean that PlayStation is going to win the console war? Yes. But Xbox isn't really playing anymore. And I don't know. There's even been rumors that Game Pass will come to PlayStation. And while I don't think that will necessarily happen, I could see it coming to Switch, honestly, within the next couple of years, maybe even this year. Like, maybe during their August thing where they fully release the Series X and everything, they talk about Game Pass and they talk about xCloud, and they say, hey, Game Pass is coming to Nintendo Switch, and it's gonna have Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest. Maybe they'll announce Will o' the Wisps coming to Switch, and it will launch on Game Pass, and all this other stuff. Like, I could see that. I don't think it will come to PlayStation anytime soon, but maybe down the line someday. I don't know if PlayStation will probably have to allow that, which I doubt they ever will. But yeah, it seems like Game Pass is Xbox's thing now. Like, not even consoles. Like, it's literally just Game Pass, because that's the only way they're making money right now. The problem becomes, like, even though it's a great deal and they're probably making a bunch of money, I don't think they're making that much money off of it, to the point where that's the only thing that they can focus on. Like, the Series X is, like, it's in danger of becoming the next Wii U, especially because they had the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X. Now they have the Xbox Series S and the Series X. The biggest problem with the Wii U is that casual gamers thought it was the same thing as a Wii, and so they didn't get it because they thought they already had it. Literally everybody saw that. But then Xbox just goes and does the exact same thing. There's going to be plenty of casual gamers that don't pick up the Series X or Series S because they assume it's the same Xbox. Like, people who don't regularly follow, people unlike you and me, we know. But, that was the main problem with the Wii U. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of other problems with the Wii U, but that was the main thing, like, business-wise, why it failed. And here Xbox goes doing the exact same thing. And so there's very few things that Xbox could have done to make this worse. And I say that, again, as an Xbox fan. And I listen to Xbox podcasts, and they are playing it up, and they are saying, the Xbox still has a chance. Xbox does not have a chance. It doesn't. And again, it's because they're playing a different thing. Like, I believe the Xbox has dropped out of the console war. Like, it's impossible to fully drop out, because the console war isn't really waged by Xbox or PlayStation. It's waged by the fans. But yeah, there's no way, and absolutely no way, that the Series X outsells the PS5. At least in the next couple of years. Like, maybe, and that's a fat maybe overall. Like, maybe something happens. But at this launch, and for the next couple of years, there is no way. I would bet my life that this PS5 outsells the Series X, because there's no reason to get one. And Microsoft knows that. Like, I mean, they're trying their darndest to advertise it, but I mean, honestly, are they? Are they even trying to advertise it that much? Because I mean, PlayStation doesn't need to advertise it because it's PlayStation and they're on top, and so they're like, "Hey, PS5, we know you want it, so come and get it whenever we release it at whatever price we say it is." Xbox, they aren't even really advertising, because again, it's like I don't even know. Like, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea why I should buy this console, and it's I like Game Pass is great. It's fantastic, but you need more than a subscription service. I'm sorry, like Xbox, but that is the only thing you have going for you. Because Ori and the Will of the Wisps is not a console seller. I'm sorry, no matter how amazing that game is, we need more than just indie games and a mediocre AAA game every other year. It's just tired of having this. I'm tired of defending Xbox. Like, I am so tired of defending Xbox. And that's why it's like, like I've always I've wanted to work at IGN. Hold on. I've wanted to work at IGN like once I graduate college, and I've wanted to be a part of that and be a part of podcasts. And my thought was, I would be on the Unlocked podcast, but I genuinely don't think I could be on it. Because there's so little positive things I can say about Xbox right now, and it's not even that I, want to be negative about Xbox. It's just so difficult, and I hear the arguments these people on that podcast are making, and they're so dumb. Like, I understand that like delaying Halo is a good thing, but you gotta look at the ramifications here for Microsoft. Like, and it's not even even on the PlayStation podcast on Beyond, they were talking about how it's both a good and a bad thing, and it's like everyone's shying away from saying the Series X is dead, and I understand the argument of the ecosystem versus console, but you're still, let's look at it. Like, the main question is, which console is going to sell better this launch? Like, which console is going to make a profit? And it's not Series X. It's not. It's not both either. It's the PS5 because it has exclusive games. It does have games. I mean, hopefully Miles Morales doesn't get delayed. But then again, we don't. I mean, there's not a whole lot we know about PlayStation's games either. We just hope, But as long as Miles Morales launches on PlayStation 5, they win. That's it. That's all they need. They don't need more than that, because they've got it in the bag at Spider-Man, and they did great with the last one. So I have very little doubts that this will be incredible as well. But yeah, it's very. I don't know. Xbox makes me upset, and I just wish that whatever the initiative is working on, it better knock my socks off. It better knock my socks off, because I'm tired of defending Xbox when I really don't know what to say to defend them. And so yeah, that's my spiel on Xbox. It's my depressing spiel. And so, however, again, let's talk about some good stuff. That's why I said it's one of the worst years in gaming ever, is because of all this. Bleh. But there's been a whole lot of good stuff as well. Just look at the games that have been released: The Last of Us Part 2, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Persona 5 Royal. I mean, we've gotten some fantastic games this year. It's 2013 all over again. It's the final year of the consoles. They're coming out with absolute bangers that they've been working on, some this entire generation. And we're getting Cyberpunk, hopefully, by the end of this year. It keeps getting delayed. I hope we still get it this year, but we're getting Cyberpunk. I mean, it's just phenomenal. It is absolutely fantastic. Like the games we're getting this year are like, the little games that we are getting are just knock out of the ballpark, and it's so good. They're so good. So that's what I'm saying. Like in terms of like game of the year conversation this year is gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. Because there's so many great games that came out this year. So that's why I'm saying it's one of the best years in gaming on in that aspect. But in every other aspect, it's complete garbage. And so that's why it's so complicated to talk about 2020. Like, it's complicated in general, but in the gaming industry, talking about 2020, like 10 years from now, it's still going to be like so complicated to be like, yeah, that was, coronavirus, and it wasn't really like, there were a bunch of great games, but like that was about it. And it's like, well, isn't that, all you need? And it's like, no, you don't get it. And it's like, explaining that to people, like, it's such a weird year. It's such a crazy, chaotic, messy year. And I hope it ends well. I hope both consoles launch fantastically and Xbox has surprises up their sleeves. And I hope that we're all happy at the end. That's what I hope for. But yeah, to 2020. Here, I'll raise my water bottle to it. Oh, jeez. There's something else I want to talk about because we are in summertime, and typically this is the time where people like to get to their backlog and play some games that they might have not had time to complete or even check out yet that have been sitting in their library. And so I wanted to make you guys all feel better because I know a lot of people they like sorry. I'm pulling up my phone again because I have this also on my phone. But I thought I'd make you guys feel better. I am going to show my backlog. However, this is not my entire backlog. This is just PC. So I also have games on my backlog on Xbox, on Switch, and on PS4. Also on PS3 and Wii U. So yeah, strap in. Oh, also on 3DS. So this is just for PC. So I figured I'd make you guys feel a little better. So these are organized in the order they're listed, both starting, I believe it goes Steam. Hold on. Goes Steam, Uplay, Origin, Epic Games. But yeah, and then in the order they're listed. So, prepare. Some of these were kind of hard because some of them, it's hard to tell, what is completing them because some of them are the more like multiplayer based. So I tried to be as accurate as I could. All right, here we go. Alien Isolation, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, Amnesia: The Dark Descent, Batman: Arkham Asylum, BioShock 2, Bone: Out from Boneville, Bone: The Great Cow Race, Borderlands 2, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Cities Skylines, Crysis, Dark Souls 2, Darksiders 2, Dead by Daylight, Dead Rising 3, Deus Ex Human Revolution, Dirt 3, Dirt Rally 2.0, Disco Elysium, Divinity Original Sin 2, DMC Devil May Cry, Don't Starve, Doom 3 BFG, The Elder Scrolls Online, F1 2017, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fez, Galactic Civilizations 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, Grim Fandango Remastered, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Half-Life Alyx, Hector, Hell Yeah, Hitman Absolution, Horizon Zero Dawn, Icy, Injustice Gods Among Us, Insurgency, Jet Set Radio, Jurassic Park the Game, The Legend of Korra, Life is Strange, Limbo, Mad Max, Mafia 2, Mark the Ninja, Max Payne 3, Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Minecraft Story Mode, Monaco, Need for Speed Undercover, Nexus, Noomba Deluxe, Ori and the Blind Forest, Outlast 2, Payday the Heist, Plague Inc. Evolved, Planescape Torment, Poker Night at the Inventory, Poker Night 2, Postal, Prototype 2, Puzzle Agent 2, Quake, Red Dead Redemption 2, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil Revelations, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Robo Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball, Rome Total War, Saints Row 4, Saints Row Got Out of Hell, Sam & Max 2, Sam & Max 3, Sanctum, Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics, Serious Sam 3, BFE, Sid Meier's Civilization 5, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, Slay the Spire, Sniper Elite V2, Speedball 2 HD, Stealth Inc. 2, Styx Master of Shadows, System Shock 2, Telltale Texas Hold'em, Temtem, Thief, Thief Gold, This War of Mine, Tom Clancy's The Division, Torchlight 2, Total War Empire, Total War Shogun 2, Transformers Fall of Cybertron, Transformers War for Cybertron, Transistor, Tropico 6, Two Point Hospital, Two Worlds 2 Castle Defense, Victim of Zen, The Walking Dead: A New Frontier, The Walking Dead: Michonne, The Watch Dogs, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, Wolfenstein: The New Order, XCOM: Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2, Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, Prince of Persia: The Two Thrones, Rayman Origins, The Crew, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Tom Clancy's The Division 2, World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, StarCraft 2, StarCraft, Battlefield 1, Dead Space, Dragon Age Origins, Control, 20XX, 3 out of 10, A Total War Saga Troy, Barony, Next Up Hero, Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery, Tacoma, Wilmot's Warehouse, Remnant from the Ashes, and whatever that new game that just came out for free on the Epic Game Store. Yeah, I didn't count how many that was, but that's just on PC. And that also doesn't count Game Pass, Uplay Plus, and Origin Access, which I have all of. And so, yeah, I have a problem. I think I'm nearing 800 games total across all different platforms. Probably not nearing. I've probably passed that at some point. Yeah, I have an issue. How many games do I have on Steam itself? Because that's a lot of them. Now, to be fair, some of those games I've gotten really close to beating. Some of those games I've never even touched. It says I have 377 games. Now, there's a bunch of like free games in there, and there's a bunch of like repeats, so like Bioshock Remastered. So I probably have about 300 games on Steam, which is nuts because I remember when I hit 200. And so, yeah, it's been rough. I'm really bad at beating games. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I have commitment issues with video games. I've beaten 4 games this year. 3 of them were Stadia games, and one of them was South Park: The Stick of Truth, which I beat on stream. So, proud of myself for that. But yeah, it's you know, I'm really bad at that, but I'm trying to be better, I'm trying. Well, yeah, that's my backlog. It took me It took me forever to actually talk my way through all those. But we did. And so, yeah, in order to, save myself from having a bunch of time, we're gonna move on, but I figured I'd let you guys give yourself some slack, because if anybody has a longer backlog than mine, again, just on PC, or maybe on any if your Xbox console backlog is that long, let me. If anybody has a backlog that long on one platform, please let me know. Please show me up, and then we'll compare total backlogs and see, because again, I'm not counting like Game Pass or anything like that. It doesn't really get a whole lot bigger because I don't own a lot of games on console, especially now with subscription services playing such a big factor in me being able to, obtain games. But I still own a lot. I own a lot of games. Actually, there's even more PC games because there's Gorn, Asgard's Wrath, Robo Recall. Those are all PC games that I own through VR. I forgot about that. So yeah. I have a problem. I play a lot of games. I just don't beat a lot of them. I beat very few. If we looked percentage-wise, I've probably beaten maybe 15% of the games that I own. It's ridiculous. I need to stop. I need to go a year without buying video games and just clear through my backlog. That's what I want to do. Right now, I've been playing Disco Elysium, and that goes into the games I've been playing this week, which has been a bunch. But yeah, my goal right now is to beat Disco Elysium. And also Half-Life Alyx, but that's a VR thing, so I don't do that a whole lot. But yeah, I really want to beat Disco Elysium, so I've been playing that a little bit this week. It's been really busy because I've been streaming a lot, and yeah, just moving and getting everything all settled and that sort of stuff. I haven't had a lot of time to play it, but that's my goal is to beat both that and Half-Life Alyx um, right now on PC. That's my free time goal because they're both amazing games. I've also been playing some Fall Guys, which if you haven't played Fall Guys, get on it. If you have a PS4, you can download it right now. It's free with PS Plus, and it's $20 on Steam. And so go play. I play on PC, so hit your guy up, man. I will play with you guys. It's so much fun. It is really, really, really flippin' fun. And so I've been playing a bunch of Fall Guys. And then, like I said, I played the South Park games. I finished the Stick of Truth last night, and I started the Fractured But Whole, which I've never played before, and I've never seen anything for. So I'm going in like completely blind, pretty much. I mean, I've seen some trailers and stuff, and like a brief little bit of gameplay, like pre-release stuff, but I never watched any real coverage for it, and so it's really fun. It's more South Park. It's a little complex, but in a good way. Like it takes everything in the Stick of Truth and dials it up another notch, and so it's interesting. I enjoy it though. It's very nerdy. I also mentioned earlier that I played Horizon Zero Dawn on PC. This is where I get into the debate of, so it was running at a steady 30 FPS for me, and I was running it at 1080p medium settings, and so it is a beautiful game, one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. And yeah, it was running at 30 FPS on medium settings. And again, I have a beefcake of a laptop, and so people say it's a bad PC port. My thing is, I was okay with 30 FPS for that type of game. Now, if it was Doom, if it was Call of Duty, I wouldn't be. But it's not a fast-paced game. I was still sniping these machines with my bow, and being able to have a mouse and keyboard for that, so nice. I don't like follow missions. Get those out of video games, because it's you can't do an analog stick and push it forward a little bit with a key. You either press it or you don't. And so I had to follow someone, and it was I was always moving faster than them, so I had to walk a little bit and then stop, and then walk a little bit, stop. And I just, because I can't put different pressure on the keys, and so that's the only disadvantage I had with mouse and keyboard. But sensitivity, man, it don't matter because you got the mouse. You just and so yeah, but it was fun. It was really fun. And I never actually beat Horizon on PS4. Maybe I will on PC. Regardless, I will beat it before Forbidden West comes out. West? I always forget if it's West or Wilds. I think it's West. But yeah, I'll beat it before that comes out. But yeah. And so hopefully I can beat it on PC. I think I will. I think I'm going to beat it on PC. Continue playing on there. Just because I like having the portability of just, my laptop. Just plug it in anywhere and go. Anyway, I've also been playing a little bit of Rocket League. First time I've played in probably at least a year. But I played it with some friends, and super freaking fun. I mean, we had a 3-person squad, so we just killed it. We were undefeated. We played 15 matches. It was so awesome. We killed it. But one of my best friends is esports level good at Rocket League, so he also, it was mostly him. But I did pretty well myself sometimes. We played some Overwatch too, and I love that game. I'll always love that game. It's just fantastic. Played some Smash. I just got back into Ring Fit now that I'm in a more stable place, so I've been working out, getting them gains. It's hell on my legs, because if y'all could see my calves, my calves are good, but that's about it. I don't know what it is about my adductors, but they just don't exist. And so anytime I try to do wide squats, it is just immense pain and soreness and just awful things. And so yeah, Ring Fit Adventure has been both fun and terrible at the same time, and so I'm happy to get back into that. And I even played a little bit of Siege. One of my roommates is excited, I guess. But yeah, I got back into, or I haven't really fully gotten into Siege, but one of my best friends is into it really, really heavily. And so when I got the new laptop, I'm trying to get into Siege, and so I played a little bit of that this week. I'm hoping within this next week to actually jump into some games with him once I get the hang of it. But I played a little bit of Siege too. So yeah, I played a bunch of games this week. I've been kind of all over the place. But yeah, so there we go. again, I could have rambled on even more with the podcast this week, but I'm streaming in less than 20 minutes, and I was gonna push it. Like if I really wanted to, like if I was really having a good time, I was gonna push the stream back because I wanted to get this recorded because I'm late as it is. But we did it. We're fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And so yeah, hopefully we'll be all good to go. I will see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll actually be on time. I should be. Like I said, I'm gonna be back home, and so there's not a whole lot I'm gonna be doing. Like I said, I'm gonna be streaming. Uh, I'll stream. Let's see. By the time this is up, the one stream will be over because it's not gonna be ready before the stream. But I'm trying to think. Tuesday, I'm gonna stream. I mean, assuming if this Wasteland Remaster stream goes well, I'm gonna be streaming more of that. So look for those bonus streams whenever they happen. But if it doesn't, Tuesday, right at not 100% sure. I think Tuesday. I haven't decided yet. Either my regular Tuesday stream will just be Microsoft Flight Simulator, or I will just stream Microsoft Flight Simulator right at launch, or I will stream Microsoft Flight Simulator on Wednesday during my usual time. So something will happen with Microsoft Simulator at some point. Don't know yet. I don't know what would be the best thing for that. And I'll be playing some South Park, Tuesday, Thursday. Again, it won't be Tuesday if I decide to replace it with Microsoft Flight Simulator, but definitely Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going to do Wasteland 2 because I will hope to have beat Wasteland Remastered by then. So, but that's, again, that's next week's episode to figure out. Anyway, thank you guys for watching / listening / whatever you did. Next week, I don't know what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. Hopefully we have, the PlayStation 5 price and the Xbox price and everything. Hopefully we have everything. Hopefully they announce 8K and it's full capacity and that they can run it and that, they're giving out 8K TVs for free when you buy a console. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys. See you guys next week.